Welcome back. Welcome to Bilingualism 101 with Dr. Varghese. I'm Matthew Varghese. So today, uh, I'd like to talk about what this book actually uh, trying to present to you. What effect, what you get if you follow the discussions in the book. And this is vitally important, one of the most important thing for non-native English learners to understand, especially people who live uh, in, in Asian countries. Uh, there are certain things which are vital for people who want to communicate in English as a natural language. We cannot use the method that is used in educating people in English or any other language in the Western countries. Most of the Western languages, English, German, French, all have nearly same structure. And that structuring problem uh, uh, is one of the real problem for a normal people to use English as a communication language in especially in Asian countries like Japan and India and everywhere. So uh, we will have to do something very special to tackle this problem. Uh, One of the reason why, which is which faces a learner or a teacher is that the structural difference of languages just don't occur to the learner, uh, and he always struggle with the structural specifics. In other way, English follow SVO structure. Most of the Asian languages follow SOV structure. It means that the verb phrase always comes in the end of the sentence. On the other hand, the verb phrase uh, comes in between the subject and the object in English. In certain European languages like Romanic language, uh, it is like Italian, French, and even you can use without a subject because the verb is inflated. So, but it is pretty much the same structure. So they don't have much problem in switching from their mother tongue to English. On the other hand, people from India or in Japan, they have specifically this structure. The verb phrase always comes in the end. But like in linguistic, they call code switching because the code of English is SVO. It's formed in SVO, and then you have to switch to SOV structure of English. Sorry, the native language. So we have to do something very specifically uh, to 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 train the learner, the students, from the beginning to switch between these two languages. And that is one of the reason I gave them. But I was discussing last week, think on a paper. When they try to think on a paper, they will easily write that structure some way. Um, and this uh, formation of the structure get habituated by a person, the learner. It is not a cumbersome process because this structural switch, in fact, happens very quickly in the mind of a language user. This is a human ability to switch between two languages. この日本語で話すとき、日本語で話すのことを、英語から、何やら、文節文節を、単語単語、何やら、訳しないで、このアイディアを英語の、順番から、それ日本語の順番から英語の順番にスイッチするな。There is a way you can do it. And that is what has to be taught to the students from the beginning so that the student won't struggle with the structural differences of English and Japanese. See, we may think that this is an Herculean effort. You have to, like always be aware of the structural differences. You don't have to. Uh, one of the very popular linguists who worked on this, he has written a book called Language Instinct. His name is Stephen Pinker. And he says this psychological process of switching from one language to another is very organic in the mind of people. So he says that the 3-year-old child, a 3-year-old then, is a grammatical genius, master of constructions, obeying rules far more often than floating them, respecting language universals, hearing the insensible adult-like ways, and avoiding many kind of errors altogether. How do they do it? Children of this age are not notably incompetent at most other activities. So actually Pinker actually pointing that the structural difference between languages are instinctively available to us. See, when I was explaining a child I know who used to speak 5 languages when she was 5 years old, Sakura-chan, the way she is switching between the 5 languages, you will be amazed by her, clarity and dexterity in using these various different structures of different languages. But what she is actually doing, switching mostly unconsciously from SVO structure to SOV structure. This happens. So this instinct of switching between languages. 私今日本語で話すけども、日本語は私の言葉じゃない。私の日本語のレベルも、本当であまりいいじゃない。ね。本当で、日本語読み方とか、I cannot read and write Japanese, but I can speak, and I can speak rather okay. But, like English or Japanese is not my mother tongue. I'm not employing mother tongue to talk in these 2 languages. So, これは人間の心の中に通す力だから、私たち、言葉を教えるとき、これを原因にして教えたら、このことを原因にして教えたら、このインスティンクは、心の中ある、everybody has this instinct to use and learn the language that is naturally available to them. And this ability is actually switching between 2 codes. The the SVO code of English and SOV code of Japanese. So, この英語の順番から日本語の順番にスイッチするとき、やれること、私たち最初からあ学生に教えたら、このためにいろいろなテクニック私、授業で使った。これ、一等速テクニックというのは、フリーライティングする。この頭の中どうやってあのアイディアが来る。So, in fact, 私、前、この本の中も、ルートワードとか、ルートトートとか、そういうようなことを説明してる。メンタリスのアクティビティも説明してる。それで、私たち大体考えてることという言葉というのは一つ言葉です。あの一つ言葉から別々の言葉の順番に流して、話したいことを流して、文章を作って話す。これ、automatically happening in the mind of a 3-year-old child who never have any exposure to uh, many language, sorry, exposure to various other things like arithmetics or something like that, simple calculation or something like that. So this ability, as is inherently available, so you need to activate it. This activation process has to be done critically. You have to give them a lot of listening training, speaking training, writing training. Incorporate all these things in my class. これ、聞くの練習、書くの練習、読むの練習、それから、これをアクティベートしてするとき、大体、この言葉から別の言葉にスイッチするのことは、大変にならない。Actually, automatically they can speak. This is very much there for non-native speakers of English, especially in my country, India. A lot of maybe a good number of young people can use English, but speaking is very difficult for them because when they try to switch from their mother tongue to English, they always confuse. The thought language they think is their own mother tongue, and it interferes with them. And this is a kind of problem that almost all language teachers face uh, in the in the classroom, and it has to be addressed properly. And in my classworks, I used to give students a lot of writing training. But in today's time, you have chat, GPT, all these unnecessary tools, which in fact hamper into their ability to think in the language. They have been given, like the structured sentences, based. I don't know. I discourage students to use it. I normally tell students in the class while you are writing, please don't use any dictionary or any smartphone aids because these are all interfering into their thinking ability in a language, and they will hugely dependent on some kind of technology to say. Anyway, this is far beyond the scope of this discussion. Anyway, I normally tell the students to do it diligently, and a good percentage of them are doing it. I can see it. I observe when they're writing, whether they're writing from their mind or they're using this kind of aids. During the text, I don't allow them to use any dictionary, any smartphone, anything. They have to write from their mind. So this kind of training only help them to switch between these languages, and that is a thing uh, we have to keep in mind when we try to implement this English bilingual project, because it is it's not teaching the native speakers language or a standard language, or something used by the native speakers in around the world, or American, British, Australian, Canadian, whatever English they want to print. The only thing is, English for them should be a language with you can use outside uh, your national boundaries, and you can communicate with people more effectively on direct talks and things like that. Uh, and that will enhance their uh, enhance their acceptability in society, in workplaces, in travels, and all these things, where you don't have to, nobody is care that whether you are speaking some American, British, or Canadian, or kind of English. It is the only thing whether he can or she can say what she want to say from her mind. So, これ、本当で、私たち、これ、教えるとき、こういうような練習やったら、私の経験で、今、20年ぐらい、日本でいる、日本で教えてる、そう、これの経験で見たら、大体、バイリングルになった人たち、私の授業を取って、バイリングルになった人たちいっぱいいる。あの人たちの上がってる、あの、クラスワークトレーニング、この授業の中にある練習というのは、自分での考えを紙で書く、それ書いたものを話す、話したものを増やす、そういうようなことを大体やってる、授業の中。これはもっと抽象してするとき、ああの、日本語から英語、英語から日本語を、国語から英語にスイッチするときある問題は、大体解決できる。私、言ったように、英語も日本語も私の国語じゃない。やっぱり別の言葉です。でも私、これ話すとき、私の考えてるメンタリスから訳して、訳しない考えてることを話す。これは一番大事なことです。これを授業の中入れるとき、大体生徒さんにこの力、言葉で英語で特別で考えて話すできる。So, if you find this discussion useful, like it and share it and subscribe to this channel, and let us spread this bilingual English projects method more widely, more for helping more people. And with that, I conclude today's lecture. Bye for now.